Good afternoon. Actually, it is evening. Good evening, my friends, and welcome. I am Linda, and you have found Linda's Stamping Escape. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday, the 20th of February. The month is almost over. It is crazy. Only a few more days left in the month. Hello, Karen and Tony. Welcome, ladies. Is everybody braving the cold weather? From what I hear, it's cold from here to Oklahoma. Okay. I'm excited tonight to see this. This is the new set we're going to be playing with. It is called Tiled Techniques. And Judy and Barb have joined us. So welcome. And Karen. Tony said they have a heat wave today. It's 21. Hello, Nicole. Okay, just a quick update on my Funfold class. I have one spot left for the 6:30 evening class. However, if you have a friend, I'll let two come in because if you don't like stamping alone, I get it. So just let me know and we'll get you signed up. But I have three spots left in the morning class. So it is filling up fast. Hello, Sharon and Cheryl. Welcome, ladies. So that's the update on our class. So if you have any questions about it, it is 5 fun folds. And I promise not a Z unless it's a fancy Z, but that's not on my radar right now because you guys see me do those all the time. So tile techniques. It's funny because Vicki and I were just talking about this and I said, the item that I was going to show on Tuesday is not available. And I didn't have time to whip up something else. So that's why I just did a quick class announcement and decided to do it tonight. So I pulled this out because Vicki had a question about it. I said, oh, funny thing, because that's what I was thinking about doing on Thursday. So it is just a stamp. It is not a bundle. It's not a suite. So it's just a fun stamp. And I thought, well, I'm going to play with this and find out because it intrigued me. That's why I bought it. So it's really cool. It is on page 60 of I'm sorry, ladies, I still call this thing either the spring or the holiday catalog. So we got the spring mini here and it's on page 60. And they got some cute little cards on here. I especially like this one. So take a look. Vicki goes, yippee, I'm here. And we got Tile Techniques stamp set. So I'm going back to basics. You know, back when we all first started 25 years ago or more or less. And everything was stamps, ink, and paper. And we made pretty cards. And I think that's exactly where this fits in. Don't get me wrong, you can emboss it and you can do some other things. But today we're going to kind of stick with the basics. There are quite a few, 2, 4, 5 stamps in here. And I'm going to start out with this big one. And then I'm going to show you 2 different ways that I used it. So that's kind of my focal point tonight. And then we've got what I call corner dies. So those are like here, which would be this one. And then this little pointy one here, perfect for corners. This one, I think I have everything stamped just a little so you can see it. And then this one, which looks kind of cool, kind of looks like an orange, but I don't know. I'm here in a fruit mood. Hello, Dawn. Thanks for joining us. And then I have one more. And that's this, I don't know, it's really kind of pretty with a little filigree. So I'm using that one tonight too. So hopefully I have them all covered. Excuse me. And you will be able to see how I use them all. So let's start out with the big guy. And we will use him pretty much in the easiest way. Just drop my embellishments here. Let me put them off to the side. I'm going to start out with the in color, the Petunia Pop. So I'm going to start with this. Let me bring in my card base. Of course, you know that's 8.5 by 11. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is 8.5 by 11, but then we're going to cut it in half. So then it'll be 4.25 by 8.5. I'm just totally wrong on that. Can we start over? Hello, everybody. Okay, card base, 8.5 by 5.5. Scored and folded at 4.25. There we go. Now I got it. So here's our basic stamping. So we have our cardstock, right? And we have our ink and we have our stamps. And this piece is just 4 inches by 5.25. Get that one right. And we are going to ink this up. And again, I am using the Petunia Pop. Oh, I think I'm going to do this so I quit bouncing for you guys. I'm going to get that all nice and juicy, fully covered. Flip this over because I got it messy already. And I'm going to line up my corners in my corners here. I'm going to press this in. And I should have actually played with this color. I did not. There we go. Oh, and I need this. Let me bring that in because I'll get a much better stamped image on that. I just noticed that some of my ink pads need some refreshing with a little ink refill. I got this going on here. Go get it nice and juicy and come back up here and tuck this back in the corner. Press that down. I think this will look a lot nicer. Much smoother image there. And I am going to clean this off right away because our next card is going to use the same stamp, just in a different way. Get that cleaned up here. Move this guy up. All right. There we go. And my clean side is always my double check. And then I just tap that on, make sure that's nice and clean. There we go. All right, set that up there for our next card. And then we are going to rock and roll here. And we're going to grab a greeting. And you guys can use any greeting you have at home. I'm sure everybody has this one. And don't ask me what the name is right off the top of my head because I can't remember. I know you guys do. So name this stamp set right there in the comment section. And I'll put your name in twice for the drawing this evening. How does that sound? Okay, there's just our stamps, inks, and paper. And of course, we're going to layer this. Super simple. If you need fast cards, this would make a pretty sympathy card. So you could just put with sympathy in there. You could layer it, which I will share with you on the next card. Let me flip this and just put a little burnish, make sure that's all filled in. Look how quick and easy that is. And then, of course, we have little embellishments because, right, that'll really sparkle up our project. So let's use 3 big ones. Now, right over here by the greeting, so that draws your eyes over our greeting. And then I'm just going to add a couple of these little bitty ones. Come on. Around here. Let's see. I'm getting too picky. I just want to stick them around so they sparkle more. I'm going to stick one in the corners. We'll put 2 little ones up there and 2 bigger ones down here. There we go, because I'm almost at the end, but I want to make sure I use them all up. Here, let's, okay, quit flipping. There we go. Little stinker. If I could figure out where to put those last 2 on, I would do that too. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's take the little guy off of here. Stick him right there. And him right there. And now I can throw this away. And we got some bling bling going on this card. There we go. Quick and simple. And you have a beautiful pattern. And don't forget, you can emboss this too. So if you want something really classic, you could do black cardstock with white embossing powder. That would be really pretty. All right, now let's just step it up a hair, and I'm going to bring my card in. And of course, speaking of dies, I'm going to die cut this in the center. And then I die cut this little piece too. So I actually flipped it over and die cut it, so I didn't waste any paper. How cool is that? Same technique that I did on our first card. It's just die cut. And then, of course, I layered this. So you get that nice dimension there. So if you're above doing the basic, here's an easy way to step up this card. And then don't forget to stamp the inside, because now we have all those pretty little corner pieces, right? So we can stamp the inside, and then don't forget your envelopes. So now you got a really coordinated card. And so easy to make. Okay. Now let's move on to our next one, so I can show you how to use that big die a different way. So let's get our paper in here. There's 2 of these, because I didn't put the inside in that one, but so I do have it cut for this one though. This is our blueberry bushel, and I have the cardstock here in little piece, and then I have a Happy Father's Day, which I got from the Greetings for All Mix and Match. Oh, I'm going to have to start having a glass of wine when I do this so I can get my words straight. Karen said, I love the inside being stamped. Would have done that on my own. Oh, never would have done that on my own. I know I have people that tell me, because when we first started stamping, that really wasn't a big thing. Some people did, but I had a group of ladies that would, let's just say, encourage me to, create more on the inside. And it really does add a nice touch. So, oh, Cheryl, you are correct. That stamp set is called Layering Leaves. So we had our greetings for all here, which I took out the Happy Father's Day. We're going to do this in Blueberry Bushel because, yes, it looks a little frilly, but you know, we're gonna do this. All right. So we have an inside here, and we'll do that in a second. Let's get this out of the way. And then pull this out. And this one is nice and juicy because I just used that the other day. Just get that nicely layered. Okay, now on the last one, we took our corners, our edge piece there, all the way to the top. This time I'm switching it up and we're bringing that to the bottom, and our straight piece is going to be in the center. So it's going to look just a little different. So cool that you can move these around. And then like I said earlier, I do have a sample or two to show you what I did with some of them other ones. Not cards, but just so I could stamp them for you. I didn't do it on camera because I think my head would have been blocking the way. So you don't want that, do you? All right. Oh, you could do it this way too. Wonder what that would look like. Oh, goodness. That should be covered up. But we're going to butt these two ends up together here and then drop this down like that. Give that a nice firm push. And with this dark blue, that one's going in the sink. Run the water under that. Now let's grab one of our little corners here. And I like to do mine this way because that way, if I go in here, I'm going to get my edges all smudged. So I'm just kind of bringing the edge of that stamp right up to the edge of my ink. If that makes sense. And then we're going to line that up with the bottom. Put that there. Oh, this Blueberry Bushel is so pretty. Joe said it looks like a butterfly. Oh, Vicky said that too. Hi, Kay. Oh, you know what, ladies? You are right. It kind of does look like a butterfly before we get these pieces in there. We'll have to create something wonderful with that, won't we? There we go. A lot of filigree, right? And we used that little piece. So let's grab our inside while we're got our ink and our paper out here. And let's just do one little corner on this one. This is a guy card, so we don't want it too frilly, right? Okay. Close our ink up and get ready to make our card. So all my cards tonight are the A2 size. So you don't want me repeating that jumbled up mess that I started this the first time, do you? You all know that 8.5 by 5.5, folded and scored at 4 1/4. Okay, let's get our front on. That nice border around there. So again, these are all cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. As is my inside, and we're going this way. So let me get this on. And we are going to tuck this in the corner. And then you could do the same with your envelope. So you'd have a nice matching piece. All right. And then Oh, I like the border, so I'm going to leave that just the way it is. I am not going to trim down my paper. Just grabbed a piece from my little stockpile of scraps. I'll put this in the middle. And then my little snip like I always do. A little further away there. There we go. Oh, I am full of ink, ladies. Couple little dimensionals there to pop that up. And we're going to dab this right in the center there. How nice is that? And having it in the center kind of tones that down a little bit. So makes it nice and easy. And then I was practicing earlier and I used the little corner on this one. So if you want less of the filigree, you could go with this smaller one. That's this one versus this bigger one with the rounded edges. So this one might look a little more manly to some. So, oh gosh, I'm glad you guys love these. They're so easy to make. So now we got both of those corner pieces. And then I have another one that I wanted to show you. And that was this one with the rounded, it's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like those little drapery things. Not a banner, but you know, you hang them out on the 4th of July. Okay. All right. Now I pulled out, haven't used this color in a long time, my peach pie and pecan pie. So we're having dessert right now. And what I did was I measured half and I used my pencil and put a little mark there. And of course you want to use pencil so you can erase it when you're done. Bunting. Yes, Karen. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. And you could do this with different colors. This might be fun in that red, white, and blue. You just never know, right? And this is my pecan. So that's going to be for my words. So I'll set that aside. And peach pie goes first. Oh, no. I got that mixed up. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to do this with pecan because it shows up better. Actually did a practice one with the peach on peach, which is kind of pretty. But I'm going to do, I think I'm going to the dark side and I'm going to use the pecan on this one. Let me grab just a little piece of paper here, so I don't mess up my little foam thing here. Then we're going to ink this up. And again, I'm inking it on that edge. You can move it around a little, but I don't want to get ink all over my block. So, and I just cleaned them all today. So I am lining up this little line here that I put on here and lining it right up with that centerpiece. And I'm bringing this right down to the edge. So I'm not going to have a little line. See, it's going to go right to that edge. And I started with the center because that way I can line everything up easily. So we're getting our little bunting one. I love that. Right off the edge there. That might be spaced a little bit too far, but I keep trying to push this up so you guys can see better. There we go. And I'm going to do both sides. Bring this one down just like that. And this is just going to be a fun card that you can just send to anybody. And again, I'm just playing with colors here. You guys can use any colors you want. I think that red, white, blue might be kind of fun. And now we're going to finish our last one here. So how do you like that? Little bit different, right? I need that pecan pie yet. So we'll leave that here. And now, I'm going to grab this out. And since I have one new stamp set, I thought I'd bring out another one. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I ordered this one. And I didn't order it. I got it for free because it's a celebration set. So how many scrapbookers do I have out there? Okay, raise your hand. Let me know in the comments if you're a scrapbooker. And I'm showing you right now, you don't have to be to use this, but it's really nice because it's got that nice big day and all the words. So I'm going to show you how I use that. I have something to put on my first card, so I'm going to leave that there. Okay. We're going to bring in our words. Okay, this one I'm going to move because I like that darker thing behind there so I can see my wording better. So I'm going to use the word day out of there. Oops, I stuck them together. This here. And now that is mighty thick. That is a big industrial size day. So it is quite juicy. Or I mean, yeah, my ink pad's juicy too, but it's really kind of big. I'm going to flip this over because I don't want that line. So I'm going to push that in here and then make sure I'm nice and juicy, but don't have any lines in there. So let's put this. I'm going to bring that down here and kind of to the edge. Let that ink soak into your paper. Not pushing that hard, but I do want that to be a nice, bold image. Woo, look at that. Okay. Now, in our pecan pie, we are going to put in, and I'm going slightly over the top here, because that's what's cool about this. I just love this stamp set. Now you can see you can make cards with this. So we're going to have one fine day. I love it. Close up our ink pads because I am getting ink on everything. Again, you could take our little swirly die and put that on the inside of your card and on your envelope. Don't forget to do your envelopes. And my paper was cut. I think this is 3 3/4. And this is going to fit like right in between here. But, oops, do that later. I just want to do a little banner here. That's why I made it a little extra, a little longer there. We're going to bring this all the way to the edge. And it's pretty much to the edge there as well. Barb says she is a scrapbooker and she has one set she used for a title in her last book. Awesome. Well, you know, this one's going to make really nice scrapbook pages. And sometimes I like to put my stamping in my scrapbook pages because honestly, lady, that is how I started. I am not doing this. Okay, I'm using a thick cardstock and I should have scored first because it's not wanting to fold real nice for me for some reason. There we go. I don't always use thick, but I bought some and wanted to try it out. Is that funny? 25 years in the business and I'm just starting to try it out. Dawn says she likes to stamp over the top, right? Isn't that cool? Okay, so see, I did cut this at 3 3/4, so just a little bit of that white would peek out because our banner is so white, and I didn't want it to like totally overpower the card with just that big, sorry for my terminology, but blob of white. So I wanted to have a little more white in there and just left them edges showing. So there we go. I think I'm going to pop that up because I think that would be fun. And then we are going to add some embellishments on here. And I know some people think I use too many of these, but I don't like saggy cards. So when I did the second card I showed you, the one with the die cut piece out that I popped up, that I actually used the strips. So it was really easy to do the edging. And then, you know what? I'm going to leave just a little bit peeking out over there because this way it still comes to the end. All right. I like it. I like just that little bit. If you want it all the way to the edge, you can, but I like that. Okay. Now we're going to add some. Now I know these say copper clay, but look at, they match really nice. So I'm going to bring that one down here, and then we're going to do one right here and one right here. There we go. There's our little triangle, so it draws the eyes to it. So, oh, fun. Karen says, I'm supposed to be a scrapbooker, but I never got into it or get to it. Oh, yeah. I hear you, my dear. I have one scrapbook that has been in Colorado for probably 15 years. So there is our cards tonight, just to give you some cute ideas on how to use this unique set. I love this. So these are the two different ways that you can use this. One, you lined it up right to the top. And on this one, we lined the little toes, if you want to call them, and here's the flat part, and we backed those two pieces together. So you can do that in different ways. Okay, and then there's our other one. You can see how much this one is really popped up because I don't like it sagging. I'm going to put him here and put this guy here. All right, and then I have two more things. So this guy here that I used, this is what he looks like when you stamp it together. So that's kind of a cool medallion. And I think if you, were taking your time and you could actually make a whole card front. Does that make sense? Like a whole tile pattern for a card front. That would be cool. So that's what that one looks like. And then this little corner one here, I put this one together like a medallion as well. And just wanted you guys to see what these look like put together. So how cool is that? So just fun little things to do with this stamp set. Again, it's just one stamp set and your inks and paper. How fun is that? So, oh my, I'm a little over tonight, but I want to thank you all for being here again one more time. This is the Tile Techniques. And then I brought in Documenting the Day, which is a celebration stamp set. So this one's free with a $60 purchase. So easy to get that, except you have 8 days, 8 more days of celebration, and then that ends. So if you have any questions, you just let me know. Oh, they said, what are these stamps? Oh, I'm glad I showed you. And Kay, they are on page 60 of that mini catalog. So the spring catalog that you got, that is on page 60. So thank you all for joining me. I will have a drawing for some embellishments a little bit later. I'm going to eat dinner right now. So you have a wonderful evening and stay warm. Thanks much. Bye-bye.